expected. So if you're scared of moving to Kansas City because of the Midwest weather, I would say come to visit during the most humid time. Come to visit during the coldest time and see if you can endure the weather here in Kansas City. It's actually not going to be as bad as you expect, especially from people who self-reported that they were dreading it here because of the weather before they moved. After living here for quite a while, they don't find it as bad as they expected. Now, if you're considering moving here to Kansas City, give us a call, 816-4-MOVE-KC. Call us, text us, or email us. We make these videos for you so that you can gather as much information as possible. 816-4-MOVE-KC. Even if you're not quite sure about moving to Kansas City, we would love to sit down with you and talk to you about your different options, because the Kansas City Metro is quite large and quite diverse. If you find this information helpful, please consider subscribing to this channel and liking this video. Now, speaking about the diversity of Kansas City, another thing that we have consistently heard from people who have relocated here is that the Kansas City Metro is more diverse than they expected. This is also a good thing because you have so many different choices about where to live. If you want to live somewhere rural, you can go all the way up to Smithville and you can find a house that's way out there on acreage, way close to the biggest lake in the Kansas City Metro. If you want something very urban, you can move to where we are, where you are so close to downtown, midtown, the Nelson Atkins Museum, the Country Club Plaza. All of those things are just right at your fingertips. If you want somewhere that has fantastic school systems and you want a more suburban feel, you can move down to Johnson County. That includes Overland Park, Lenexa, Miriam, Shawnee. All of these places are going to contain fantastic schools. They're going to be relatively safe. They're going to be way out there in the suburbs. If you want suburban living, you can live right there. So one of my main things to tell you is that before you move here to Kansas City, not only visit during the worst weather conditions, visit a diversity of places. I have a client who just moved here. They just rented somewhere, and now every single weekend they're going out to different places. The last weekend they were in Gladstone, just driving around the neighborhoods, getting a feel for the place. The next weekend they were in Prairie Village, just going down there. It's a really cute town. It's a really desirable school district. It's going to be a lot more expensive than Gladstone, but it's a super desirable area. Next weekend, they're going to go down to Blue Springs. All of these places, we put together a list of places that they should visit for eventually when they want to buy a house about a year from now. They're going to have hit all these different areas so that they can make the best decision for them and their family. If you want a guide to Kansas City and all the different places that you should visit, again, reach out to us, email us. We would be happy send you this guide so that you can explore the Kansas City Metro on your own at your own pace when you come to visit. Okay, so the number 4 thing where expectations did not quite meet reality is that I consistently hear that houses are more expensive than anticipated. Now, it's easy to go on Zillow or Realtor.com or Redfin and browse a whole bunch of houses, and these pictures make these houses seem beautiful, right? You can find a house for $150,000 and it's nice and wide and open, or you can find a house for $125,000 and it doesn't look that bad. But in reality, when you get here and you see some of these lower priced areas, sometimes they're not what people expected, and they have to pay a lot more to get a house in a desirable area. I'll tell you that we experienced this same thing. I remember that when we first considered moving to Kansas City, we found a house on Zillow that was only listed for $40,000. And we looked at the pictures and we were like, you know what? It doesn't look that much different from the house that we're living in California. Now, when we actually got here and I became a realtor and started showing houses like that, I kind of realized, hey, I would probably never move my family into a neighborhood like this. Now, your mileage may vary because you may just value that lower price point housing and not necessarily care about the...
In other words, he just said for the people who wasn't paying attention that, yeah, that $40,000 house is a nice house, same quality of the house he was already in for a way cheaper price. But guess what? It's in a hood area, as they would call it. Shouts out to the hood, you know what I'm saying? Some people ain't ready for the hood. Some people ain't built for it. Most of the case, hey, just go take your ass to work. Don't too much nothing. You'll be okay in the hood. Now, as long as you ain't got kids, though, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't want your kids to go to school in the hood around here. Not around here, because, you know, hood schools is crazy. They're unaccredited mostly here in Kansas City, so you have to go to the suburb towns to actually get your kids good schooling. But hell, if you stay in the hood and don't have kids, it's good for you. But if you got kids, the hood ain't gonna be where you want them to be centrally located.